I spent most of my life focused on preschool for low-income kids. When I first graduated college, I actually taught in a Head Start classroom, and I shared this story with a few folks, but one of the big things that I want to fight for and that we could do with a Democratic state house and a Democratic state senate and maybe even a Democratic governor is actually pass universal pre-K for the state, so that preschool would start at 4 for kids. When I taught in preschool, I had one kid in my class, a little boy named Tommy Liu, who entered 3 weeks late. He was the youngest kid in the class. He was almost nonverbal. He had lived with a grandmother who was very limited in her own ability to kind of navigate the world, doing the best that she could. He literally didn't speak, could barely sit up in a chair. He had all of these different issues and challenges. As any teacher knows, he was like stuck on me like glue that whole year. In every photo of the class, I'm with him. I'm kind of trying to get him through it. And I felt great through all of the stuff that Head Start provides. We got him OT and a speech therapist, and by the end of the year, he was, I would say, minimally conversant in English, but had gotten through, he could get through a day and a week. I've always kept a little picture of Tommy on my desk, because it just meant so much to me, the connection I had and that feeling of where he was to where he ended up. This is where the story gets a little nutty. So 13 years later, I'm at Acelero Learning, a company I started to run Head Start programs. And in New Jersey, we hired a director of human resources who had the same name, Liu. And people always say to me, oh, Lieberman, are you related to Joe Lieberman? And I'd say, not all Liebermans are related. So I said to Tommy, hey, Liu, it's probably a really common name. I said to this kid who was our HR person, he said, oh, if it's hyphenated like that, it's really unusual. And I said, well, do you have any relatives in Boston? And I kind of told the whole story. And he, without missing a beat, he looked at me and said, oh, Tommy's doing great. And I was like, you know Tommy? This was 13 years after this kid was a preschooler in my class. And he said, yeah, he's my first cousin. And his dad was operating a convenience store just outside of Boston. He filled in some gaps for me, which is why Tommy was living with his grandmother. But he told me that Tommy was a senior at Boston Latin, which is an exam school, one of the most prestigious schools in Boston, and about to be a freshman at the Wentworth Institute of Technology, which is like a mini MIT. And I was like, I'll be honest, if you had me rank order the kids in my class, 1 through 20, who in 13 years would be going to the Wentworth Institute of Technology, he would have been number 20. And so we got back in touch. We had him come speak to our folks. By the way, he's like this big, and he played football. And he really talked about, he was in special ed through 8th grade and then got into regular education. But he's probably, I'm sure, being nice. But he really talked about that preschool year and what it meant to him to get introduced to formal schooling and to be a part of something. I've kept up with him. He's now at Harvard's IT department. He's like LinkedIn me. I mean, this is a kid who is a perfect example, is paying taxes, is hard at work, has a great full life because he got that early intervention. It was not about anything I did as a brand new teacher. It was about what happened when Head Start and programs like it touch kids' lives. There are tens of thousands, if not 20s of thousands of Tommies here in Arizona, and we know it. And we see that our system is failing them repeatedly and oft, not getting the support they need before they go into kindergarten. The third of kids that show up not ready for kindergarten are basically the same third not reading by the end of 3rd grade. They're the same third that really struggle to get through high school when they end up in Christine's classroom. And we knew when they were 5 that we could prevent it and do something different. So that's exactly what we're fighting for. And